Hey everybody, this is a 30-minute balance yoga practice for all levels. Hope you enjoy. Begin in a comfortable seated position on your yoga mat. Sit tall, close your eyes, and rest your hands on your lap. Turn your palms facing up, take a deep breath in through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. Then close your mouth and begin to breathe in and out through your nose, making your inhales and exhales of equal length. Take this time to set an intention for your practice today. So maybe you want to focus on something very specific, or maybe just a reminder to yourself to stay in the present moment throughout the practice. Find your connection to your center. Let go of any expectations for yourself for the practice. Let go of anything that happened earlier today or anything that is planned for later on. Take 3 deep cleansing breaths. On your next inhale, open your eyes, bring your left hand out in front, right hand behind you, just a gentle twist, looking out over your right shoulder, keeping your hips facing forward and even. As you inhale, come back to center, take your right hand out in front, left hand behind you, little twist to the left, looking out over your left shoulder. As you inhale, come to center. On the next inhale, lift your arms, and as you exhale, plug the arms into the torso, look up. Activate your fingers, imagining that you're having to hold a watermelon here. So making your arms very strong. And on your next inhale, bring that watermelon out in front of you, and then turn to your left. Keeping the arms very strong, fingers engaged. Come back to center, and then go over to the right. Inhale back to center. Then interlace the fingers, round your back, bring your chin towards your chest, and move the arms up and down, breathing into the upper back and the space between the shoulder blades. As you inhale, release the hands. We're going to come up and over the knees, coming onto all fours. Knees directly underneath the hips, knees are hip distance, feet directly behind the knees. Spread the fingers, plug into the mat. Wrists, elbows, and shoulders in one long line. Activate your core, tuck your tailbone a little bit, making your core very strong. Look out in front of you on the ground, about 3 feet in front. Find your dristi and then extend your left leg. So a dristi is just a focal point. And from here we're going to begin to make small circles with the legs, spread the toes. Trying to keep the hips flat. And then bring the knee down, take a deep breath in. Exhale. And as you inhale, extend the right leg, spread the right toes. Find your balance and begin to make small circles with the right leg. As you exhale, bring the right knee to the mat. As you inhale, lift the right arm and look up. press the mat away with your left hand. And on the next inhale, thread the right arm underneath the left, bringing the right side of the head onto the mat. This is called thread the needle, breathing space in between the shoulder blades and letting your head rest heavy. As you inhale, come back to center. We'll take it to the other side, so lift the left arm, push the mat away from you with your right arm, and then thread the left arm underneath the right, letting the left side of the head come down to the mat. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. No effort involved here. And as you inhale, come back to center. Reach your hips back towards your feet. Don't worry if they don't get there all the way. You can always put a rolled blanket in between your thighs and calves. Extend your arms. Let your head rest in child's pose. Making sure that you're maintaining the connection to your breath. And when you're ready, come forward, curl your toes and lift your hips for the first downward facing dog of the practice. Step your feet up the mat a couple of inches to clarify your foundation. So we want to picture the body as an upside down letter V. Invite the heels to come down to the mat, but don't worry if they don't get there. Let your head go, the gaze is towards the navel, and spin your inner thighs up towards the sky. Press the mat away from you for long armpits. Spread the fingers and really plug in. On your next inhale, step the right foot to the front of the mat and turn the left foot out 45 degrees. Your hips are facing forward. Come onto the fingertips and then rise up when you have your balance, hands to the heart. Right knee directly over right ankle or slightly behind. Press the hands together in Anjali Mudra. As you inhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Then super slowly, bring the hands forward and lift the back leg using your core strength. You can bend your right leg if you need to. You can also use a yoga block to make the ground rise up a little bit if you need a prop. So here we want to have the hips even. You can reach back and touch your hips just to make sure they're even. And then we want to point the left toes down to the ground so the inner left thigh is spinning up towards the sky. Doesn't matter how high you get here, this is just a good stretch for the hamstring. When you're ready, step your feet together, knees together, rise up, Utkatasana chair pose. So the knees are squeezing together, the ankles are touching, hands to the heart. Back is long, tuck the tailbone, broad collarbones. Inhale, rise up, standing. And when you're ready, lift your arms, look up. As you exhale, fall forward, chin to shins. As you inhale, halfway lift. If you're really tight in the hamstrings, your hands may need to come to the shins. Exhale, press the hands into the mat and step back onto all fours. Curl your toes, knees are hip distance, wrists, elbows, and shoulders in one long line. On your next inhale, we're going to bring the left shoulder towards the left hip. So if you're looking at your back from up overhead, your spine is making a C shape or a backward C shape. Taking it side to side. And then we'll come into a little cat-cow. So lift the head, lift the tailbone as you inhale. Exhale, press the mat away, bring the chin towards the chest. On your next inhale, bring your hips back towards your ankles and lift up for downward facing dog. Again, inviting the heels to come down to the mat, but not worrying if they don't get there. No expectations for yourself, just letting your practice flow organically. On your next inhale, step your left foot to the front of the mat. Turn the right foot out 45 degrees, bring the left knee directly over the left ankle or slightly behind and rise up. Press your hands together, spread your fingers, collarbones broad, hips facing forward. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Press into the outer edge of the right foot. And breathe into any areas of tension that you feel. On your next inhale, bring the fingers down to the ground. Step that back foot up towards the front of the mat and then lift the back leg. Use your core strength to do this. Then reach back, Touch the hips, make sure they're flat. You can even look behind you and make sure that your right toes are pointed straight down to the ground, and this will spin the inner thigh up towards the sky. Doesn't matter how high you get, keep pressing out of the bottom of the right foot. Feel the left hip joint over the ankle, and when you're ready, bring your feet together, knees together, coming into Utkatasana chair pose. Sink the hips low, tuck the tailbone, no arching in the back, hands to the heart. If you need more of a challenge, just extend your arms overhead and relax your shoulders away from your ears. As you inhale, come to stand. On the next inhale, lift the arms. Exhale the shoulders into the torso. Find a dristi straight out in front of you, eye level, that's not moving. Bring the arms out in front. On your next inhale, try to keep the hips forward as you turn the arms to the left. Inhale back to center. I'm just going to turn here because I'm too close to the wall, and bring the arms out to the right. So we're holding that watermelon. You have this tension between your arms. Your arms are very strong. Again, finding your dristi. When you have it, rise up onto your toes. Get as tall as you can. Be as still as you can. And when you're ready, begin to lift your arms overhead. Arms are activated, fingers are activated. Bring the arms by your ears. Get as tall as you possibly can. And bring the arms out in front. And come down onto the feet. Hands to the heart, heel toe the feet together. As you inhale, sink the hips, Utkatasana chair pose. Squeeze your thighs together. Back is really long, tuck the tailbone. On your next inhale, using that dristi for your focus, begin to lift the right foot, spread the right toes. Try to keep your knees together. Now on your next inhale, begin to straighten the left leg, and we'll bring the right knee out in front of us. Use your core strength for this. Try not to lean back. Flex your right foot. Slowly interlace your fingers around the right knee and hug the knee in towards the chest. Get as tall as you can. Try not to lean back. Left hand to the knee, right arm up overhead. As you exhale, bring the right arm behind you and begin to transfer your gaze to the right, initiating your twist at the navel. Make your arm very strong. Get as tall as you can. Feel your body weight evenly distributed on all four corners of the left foot. As you inhale, slowly come back to center. Both hands to the knee, pull it in once again. Then use your core strength, bring the hands to the heart, and slowly push the knee down as if it takes a lot of effort to get the feet back together. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Reconnect with your breath. When you're ready, feet together, knees together, sink the hips, Utkatasana chair pose. Find your dristi, relax your shoulders away from your ears and begin to lift your left foot. Spread your left toes, knees intend to stay together. Super slowly begin to straighten the right leg. Lift the right kneecap to protect the hamstring and activate the thigh. Use your core strength to bring the knee up towards your chest. Use your arms to pull the knee in even more. Then when you're ready, right hand to the knee, left arm up overhead. Make your arms strong. As you inhale, begin to twist to your left, initiating the twist at the navel, and transfer your gaze. Left arm very strong, left fingers are activated. Use your core strength to stay upright. Try not to lean back. As you inhale, come back to center, both hands to the knee. Take your time getting there. Pull the knee in one last time, then engage your core and intend to keep that leg up as you bring your hands to the heart. As you inhale, slowly press the foot down to the mat and then shake it out. Inhale, arms up overhead. As you exhale, melt forward. Bend your knees if you have to. Fingers in line with the toes. As you inhale, halfway lift, look ahead. Hands can be on the shins or hands on the mat, whatever feels best for you. Then plant the hands into the mat and step back onto all fours. Wrists, elbows, and shoulders in one long line. Knees underneath the hips, curl the toes. Look out in front of you on the ground about 3 feet. Extend the right leg. Reach back with your hand to see that your hips are flat. Then, when you have your balance, extend your left arm. Get as long as you can from the tips of your left fingers to the tips of your right toes. As you inhale, bend the knee, reach back, see if you can grab hold of the foot. If you can't, you can use a yoga strap to get a little bit more length. And if you can, then begin to pull up with the foot and breathe into the chest and the hip flexor. When you're ready, release, and we'll take it to the other side when you're ready. So find your drishti once again, looking out in front of you at one place that's not moving. Then extend your left leg, spread the left toes, and reach back with your right hand to feel that your hips are flat. Extend your right arm, get as long as you can from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your left toes. Activate the core. Try to stay light and lifted. Then when you're ready, bend the knee and intend to grab hold of the foot. Spread the toes, keep lifting. Breathe into the hip flexor, breathe into the shoulder, and release. On your next inhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Just taking a moment to notice how this downward facing dog feels compared to the first one that you did in the practice. On your next inhale, begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend your knees deeply, let your head hang heavy, whole upper body heavy, as you super slowly begin to roll all the way up. We'll do a little balancing standing series. So begin to put all your weight on your left foot. We're coming into tree pose. So the options are to put your foot on the outside of the shin as shown, or the inner thigh, but not on the knee joint. Lift your standing leg kneecap to activate the thigh. And as hard as you push in with the foot, push back with the leg. You have the option of taking your hands behind your back in reverse prayer. You only want to do that if you have really good wrists. Or you can bring the hands to the hips, or hands up overhead, or hands to the heart. Whatever works best for you, do that. Focus on your drishti. So your drishti here for tree pose is eye level and not moving. Beginners stay here. Intermediate, reach down, grab hold of the foot and bring it into the left hip crease. Flare the toes to protect the ankle from sickling. Reestablish your balance and stay there if you feel that that's best for you. Or hinge at the hips, bend the knee a little bit, and come down. Reach back with your right hand, grab hold of the toe, and then come into that forward fold, bringing the chin towards the shin. You only really want to do this if you can feel that your knees are in line with each other. If your right knee is kind of stuck out in front of your left knee, then it's not a good idea to do this pose because it puts too much stress on the knee. If you want to come into toe stand, this is for my intermediate/advanced people, you're going to bend that standing leg's knee and rise up onto the toes. And then bring one hand to the heart, maybe the other. You want to keep the chest lifted. And now your drishti is out in front of you on the ground, but don't look straight down, otherwise you'll fall. When you're ready, wherever you are, come out of your pose the same way you went in. when you're totally out, shake it off. And we'll take it to the other side. So find your dristi. And begin to put all of your weight on your right foot. Lift your left foot and put it wherever is appropriate for you. If you're finding you're having a hard time balancing on your mat, I suggest stepping off your mat because sometimes yoga mats are too cushiony and it can throw off your balance. So remember here we want to lift the kneecap to activate the thigh. Beginners stay here. Intermediate, take the foot and put it into the hip crease. You can see here that my knee is, I'm trying very hard to get it in line with that other knee. But a lot of us have one side that's tighter than the other. So be mindful of that. If you can feel that your knees are in line with each other, then you can see what happens when you bend forward. And if you want to take it a step further, you can reach back with your left hand and grab hold of the toes or use a yoga strap to help you. If you want to take it even further, you can rise up onto the toes and come into toe stand. So in order to do this, we need to rise up onto the toes, walk the hands out in front, and then bend that right knee. Now your dristi is out in front of you and on the ground. We'll take one hand to the heart, maybe the other. Keep this sensation of lifting up. So really press into the toes to lift up even more. Then when you're ready, release the same exact way you went in. And when you come out of it fully, shake it off. From here, step to the back of your mat. Take a deep breath in. Arms overhead. Interlace the fingers and release the index fingers. Take a big step forward with the left leg. As you inhale, bend both knees. Rise up, picking that back leg up. We're making the shape of a capital letter T. We want to have our hips flat. That's super important. So you can even look back behind you and make sure that your left toes are pointed straight down towards the ground. This will spin the inner thigh up towards the sky and ensure that your hips are flat. When you're ready, release and step back. Inhale, arms overhead. Interlace your fingers the other way and extend the index fingers. So it should feel a little bit awkward. Then step the right foot out in front, big step. Bend both knees. Pop up, capital letter T. So the hips are even. This is an excellent pose to build strength in the back, to improve balance. You want to think about your right hip joint over your right ankle. Pick that right kneecap up. Keep pressing out of the bottom of the left foot. And when you're ready, step back and release the same way you went in. As you inhale, take your feet hip distance, lift your arms up. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, fall forward. We're going to slide the hands underneath the feet. So you want to have your toes touching your wrists. So make sure that your hands are completely underneath your feet. Then let your head go, shake your neck out, and begin to rock back and forth. This is called gorilla pose. Your knees can be bent. Your whole upper body should be heavy. And it's really nice. It's like getting a massage on your hands. So trust yourself and challenge yourself to go forward and backward, knowing that you likely won't fall. When you're ready, release, shake it out, and then begin to walk your hands out in front until you come onto all fours. Sit your hips back for child's pose. Doesn't matter how far your hips go. Rest your head on the mat. Close your eyes, reconnect with your breath. As you inhale, come forward onto all fours, curl your toes, and rise up for downward facing dog. Press the mat away from you, long armpits, strong arms. As you inhale, look ahead and take a walk to the front of the mat. From here, come to find a seated position. When you're seated, remove the flesh from underneath the sits bones and sit really tall. Then lean back, come onto your toes. Back is very long, arms out in front, and then plug the arms into the body. Beginners, stay here. If you need to take it a step further, lift the right foot, spread the toes, bring the shin so it's parallel, and then switch. So we're just kind of tapping the foot down, going really slowly, moving with control. This is a Navasana variation, so it's a really great pose for the abdominals. If you want to take it even further, you can begin to go slower, or bring both shins so they're parallel, or extend the legs fully. You will need to lean back a little bit more, but try to keep that lift in the heart. Keep pressing out of the bottoms of the feet, spread the toes, using your hip flexor strength, using your core strength, and then gently release. Bring your hands to the knees, pull your heart forward, look up. Exhale, press the knees together, round your back, chin to the chest. As you inhale, rise up. Take your feet hip distance. Bring your hands back behind you, about 6 to 8 inches, and bring your feet halfway back. And when you're ready, with the feet pointed straight out in front of you, begin to press into the feet and press into the hands and lift up. This is a really great pose for the fronts of the shoulders. Keep the knees straight out in front of you. Let your head go if that feels okay for your neck. And then when you're ready, gently come back down to a seated position and extend your legs. Bring your right foot up and over the left leg, and hug the knee into the chest and activate the left foot. Sit as tall as you can. Left toes pointed up to the sky. Then when you're ready, right hand back behind you, lift your left arm. And hook the left elbow to the outside of the knee. Look out over your right shoulder, seated spinal twist. We want to draw the shoulder blades toward one another to keep the chest open. Initiate the twist from the navel, and with each exhale, keep twisting a little bit more. And when you're ready, gently release, and we'll take it to the other side. So hug the knee into the chest, sit as tall as you can. Activate your right toes, point them up to the sky. And when you're ready, bring your left hand back behind you, raise your right arm. Hook the elbow to the outside of the knee, look out over your left shoulder. With each exhale, twisting just a little bit more, initiating that twist from the navel. And when you're ready, gently begin to release the pose. Extend both legs, arms out in front. We're going to slowly come down until we're on our backs. Go slow. Go slower than you want to go. Use your core strength to get there. Good job. Come all the way down. Bend your knees. Take your feet mat distance apart. And then rest your knees toward one another. So let them just droop in until maybe they touch. There shouldn't be any strain here on the legs. And then when you're ready, extend your legs to come into Shavasana. Feet are mat distance. Palms are facing up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just close your eyes and let your eyes sink into the sockets. Let go of your awareness to your breath and let your breathing come naturally. We'll be here for just a few minutes, letting your body absorb all the good things you just did. On your next inhale, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And then roll over onto your right side, cradling your head in your hands. Keeping your eyes closed, take a deep breath in and exhale fully. Then, press yourself up into a comfortable seated position and bring your hands to your heart. Sit really tall, close your eyes. Just take a moment to acknowledge your practice. Scan your body, noticing how you feel. Repeating your intention to yourself and sealing in your practice with Namaste.